guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jack?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, crazy. One time during my career, I was on a Bummer One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Ray Patterson, Trump. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, Homicide Hank, the great Henry Armstrong. Homicide Hank, the great Henry Armstrong, has the family today. It's Tuesday, still early in this big week of boxing history we got coming up. Let's salute to RP and Trump in the building so far. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, you always hear me harping about Henry Armstrong and as being champion in 3 weight classes simultaneously, the only man to do it. And so today we're going to break down those 3 fights in those 3 weight classes where he became champion. I think first was featherweight, then he went to welterweight, and then lightweight. We're going to break down the 3 fights against the 3 opponents he accomplished that feat against. And also, he's the only man to do it, but not the only fighter Ann Wolf also did it. We're gonna take a brief look at Ann Wolf's 3 fights in her 3 divisions. She had middleweight. She had junior middleweight, junior middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight. Let me make sure that's right. Have to come correct. Ann Wolf had. Ann. Okay, yeah. Ann had junior middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight. She fought at middleweight, but she didn't win a championship there. But she had junior middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at Ann too. We're gonna dig deep into her, but we're gonna briefly touch on Ann's and her 3 fights where she accomplished that feat at. Only 2 boxers have ever held championships in 3 weight classes at the same time. Homicide Hank and Ann Wolf. We're gonna take a look at them 2 incredible fighters today. Okay, and tomorrow is going to be, we're going to look at some fantasy matchups tomorrow. We got 6 fantasy matchups for you tomorrow. We're going to look like 10-15 minutes on each. Here's the matchups. We got we're going to have Henry Armstrong versus Aaron Pryor. They were mirror images of each other. You've seen Aaron Pryor fight, then you don't even have to see Henry Armstrong fought in the 30s. But if you ever saw Aaron Pryor fight, then you've seen Henry Armstrong fight. We got Jack Johnson versus Sonny Liston, Marvin Hagler versus Roy Jones Jr., Ernie Shavers versus Deontay Wilder, Roberto Duran versus Julio Cesar Chavez, and then Ezra Charles is considered by many to be the greatest light heavyweight ever. So he's going to take on, we're going to match him up with 5 fighters at light heavyweight. Sam Langford, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Dwight Muhammad Kwawi, Michael Spinks, and Roy Jones Jr. That's tomorrow, fantasy matchups. And then Thursday, we are going to look at Italy, boxing in Italy, little history. Great venue, great fights that happened there. Some of the great fighters that came out of Italy, some like natural Italians, and then some Italian-American fighters. And see if we got any Italian fighters active right now. Friday, we're going to look at 8 different fighters on the profile, 10 different ones. Friday, we're going to look at Marlon Starling, Bobby Chacon, Iran Barkley, Danny Little Red Lopez, Meldrick Taylor, Jose Luis Ramirez, Terry Norris, Ray Mancini, Milton McCory, and Donnie Lalonde. And what do all those 10 fighters have in common? They did the bulk of their work in the 80s. So 10 fighters from the 80s. Now they did fight in the 90s. Some went all up into the 2000s, but the bulk of their work was done in the 80s. And that's going to be the profile Friday. We're going to look at 10 different fighters, like 10 to 15 minutes on each. Okay? But today, first thing we're going to do, like we always do, is going to be our fight of the day. We're going to dig down into the archives once again and come up with a classic fight that we're going to dig deep today because we're going back to like the 30s. So let's get into our fight of the day for today, okay? There we go. I'm trying to scroll up. Okay. So today's fight of the day is Kid Chocolate versus Benny Bass. July 15th, 1931. Cuba's first world champion. Okay. Kid Chocolate versus Benny Bass. July 15th, 1931. Irony Boxing. Boxing Irony 1. In the building today. Salute, Irony Boxing. Anybody not subscribed, please subscribe to Irony Boxing. Great channel. Approaching 30 shows in there. doing great work. Current events in boxing history, calls boxing, UFC, wrestling, bare knuckles, all of it over there at Artie Boxing. Okay, salute Artie Boxing. Our fight of the day today is, I don't know if you was here for, said that, Kid Chocolate and Benny Bass. Okay, there's the link, Artie Boxing link. You get that and go straight to it. All right. Okay, let's get into the fight of the day. Kid Chocolate versus Benny Bass, 1931. We dug deep into the archive basket. Okay, let's take a look at this fight between these two. How's everybody? It's Tuesday. We still got a big week of boxing history straight ahead of us. I mean, a big, huge week. Throughout boxing history, world titles have assumed various levels of worth. Some about as valuable as your proverbial wooden nickel. It's a process unlikely to ever stop, as different sanctioning bodies and incarnations of championships are always being created and destroyed. But if nothing else, the belts do signify some kind of achievement and often function as a means to an end. And a world title bout not universally recognized triggered a wave of patriotism and euphoria in Cuba on behalf of Eligio Sardenaz, aka the Great Kid Chocolate, the island nation's first ever world champion. Cuba's first ever world champion, Eligio Sardenaz, better known in the ring as Kid Chocolate. Okay? A 160-win, 0-loss amateur record, as reported by Chocolate's manager, Luis Pincho Gutierrez, was likely fudged. But no one could deny the kid seemed destined for stardom. The former newsboy brought his entertaining ring style to New York in 1928, along with his stablemate, Black Bill. And after only 10 fights, Kid Chocolate caught on as a major attraction. And he stayed that way as he went on a 61-win, 3-loss, 1-draw tear, putting himself in line for a chance to face Benny Bass, holder of the National Boxing Association's super featherweight title, a championship acknowledged by some, but not by all. Okay? And there is a nice shot of Benny Bass, the champion, who Kid Chocolate was going to face in this title fight. It is Benny. Come on, Benny. There's Benny. Okay. Yeah, he was the champion. This was Kid Chocolate's first title fight. Now, the losses on Chocolate's ledger came at the hands of Jack Kidberg, Fidel LaBarba, and Bat Battolino, and were all forgivable, if not disputed. Still, the Cuban's popularity caught up with him, as noted by Kansas City editor Edward Cochran. About a year ago, Chocolate was rated by the leading fistic experts of 2 continents as the best featherweight in the world, despite the fact that he did not hold the title. Then he went the way of all boxers. He decided he could do Broadway at night and retain his fighting form, but he found out that he could not. He tried to live that nightlife and still box, but he found out you can't do both. Can't play boxing. Got to be all in. A title shot loss against New York State's featherweight champion, Battolino, perhaps reflected the cost of such high living. The kid then moved up to super featherweight a division still struggling for legitimacy a decade after its semi-formal inception. Your super featherweight, all them, they weren't that popular back around that time. And that's Chocolate and Badalino right there, I believe. Yeah. No, that's Fidel LaBarbera, who one of his 3 losses were 2 coming into this fight with Bass. Yeah. Kid Chocolate and Fidel LaBarbera right there. Okay. Now, Bass was no unknown himself. Though despite his history of being warned and even disqualified for low blows, Bass was more soft-spoken than the Kid. But his record of 105 wins, 15 losses, and 3 draws proved his toughness and experience, even if he had trouble winning the important fights. Losing to Tony Canzonieri was understandable, but Pete Nebo, Eddie Shea, and Mike Dundee were all beatable opponents. Unfortunately, Bass often underperformed, starting with losing a spot on the 1920 U.S. Olympic team in the semifinals of the Amateur Athletic Union Games. He was sent packing by William Cohan, who would then be defeated by Frankie Gennaro, the eventual gold medal winner. After having picked up a vacant featherweight belt, which he then lost to Canzonieri, Bass won the NBA junior lightweight title with a 2-round destruction of Todd Morgan in 1929. But then the New York State Athletic Commission moved to abolish all junior or supplemental weight classes and ceased to recognize Bass as a champion at 130. It was another hit to a division largely considered superfluous. Yeah, the New York State Athletic Commission did away with the juniors and the supers. And it was way almost the 60s, 70s, like the 70s when they started coming back. So, all through 1930 and the first half of 1931, Bass could not consistently prevail over good fighters. But due to the screwy rule in some jurisdictions stating that the champion needed to be stopped to lose a belt, okay? You win a decision over a champion, back then the belt didn't change hands. You had to stop him, knock him out of TKO to get the belt. That was a crazy rule. So because of that rule, Bass managed to hold on to his NBA title because he lost some decisions, but nobody could stop him, so he kept the belt. And his defense against the Cuban Kid Chocolate was set for Shad Park in Philadelphia. There's another shot at Kid Chocolate right there. So the fight was set, Shad Park in Philadelphia. Okay. Fight of the day, Kid Chocolate, Eligio Sardinas, aka Kid Chocolate versus Benny Bass. In training, Bass pitched hay at his Berlin, New Jersey farm between gym sessions, while Chocolate worked out at the headquarters of George Godfrey, just outside of Philadelphia. Now the kid even wrestled with Godfrey, who outweighed him by 100 pounds or more after sessions with his usual sparring partner, Nick Florio. And the irony of Kid Chocolate grappling with a fighter named after George O. Chocolate Godfrey aside, the exercise probably did little to enhance his boxing skills. It did, however, keep the kid in great shape as he came into the fight weighing well below the super featherweight limit. And you can tell, look at this picture of him and Bass at the weigh-in. Bass looked like he's in a totally different weight class than Kid Chocolate. Look at that. That's Bass on the left, Chocolate on the right. Look how much bigger. Bass looked like he's like 2 weight classes above Chocolate. And they said Chocolate weighed in way below the limit. It's supposed to be 130. Chocolate looked like 118 or something. Look at the difference in the size in those two. Like 2 total, not just height. I'm talking about the build. Look at the body. I mean, Bass looked like he's like at least 2 weight classes above Kid Chocolate. Wow. Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. That's crazy, ain't it? It certainly looked like they're the same weight division, but they were. But they, like I said, Chocolate weighed in way below the limit of 130 though for that fight, and it shows. Now, following an intense opening round, Bass returned to his corner, complaining that the vision in his left eye was quickly diminishing. He would later state he had been thumbed, and in the second round, the same eye opened up, spilling copious amounts of blood. From then on, the kid set himself to annex the belt on cuts as he mercilessly pecked away at the bad eye. A United News report out of Pittsburgh read, Bass was bewildered by Chocolate's boxing skill and frequently swung himself all the way around in attempts to hit his opponent. On other occasions, he wound up with his back to Chocolate from swinging. Swung himself all the way around, missing that bad. He wound up with his back to Kid Chocolate, Bass did. He was missing badly, right? Missing very bad. And Bass's usually trusty left hook was easily dodged or taken on Chocolate's gloves, though Bass sometimes found the kid's body, where the kid was said to be weak. But the difference in speed and sharpness was a killer. And through rounds 5 and 6, Chocolate dished out welts and whips galore. Bass was fading quickly, and the kid sensed the world title within his grasp. The end came in round 7. And there's Kid Chocolate celebrating. Let's put that up there too soon, I'm sorry. The end came in round 7, though. Now, Bass was in a battered condition. Referee Joe Hawk ordered the fight stopped, reported the New York Times. His left eye was closed and bleeding badly, while he also had a bad split on his chin. On the other hand, Chocolate appeared virtually untouched as the fight ended. To celebrate winning the title, Kid Chocolate danced for joy in his corner as the crowd set up a roar of acclaim. The kid had every right to celebrate. After all, blindness had already retired Black Bill, Cuba's other championship hopeful. And with the victory, Kid Chocolate became Cuba's first ever world champion and an overnight national hero. Yep, there you have it, the fight of the day. And there's your winner, Kid Chocolate, Eligio Sardinas, aka Kid Chocolate. That's your winner of the fight of the day today over Betty Bass. Okay. Like a man from a different weight class. I can't get over that picture. Look at that. They don't even like they don't belong in this ring together. Like they're in 2 different classes, don't they? Okay, but now I want to talk about Homicide Hank today, Henry Armstrong, because the way I was always harping about him being the only man to be champion in 3 weight classes simultaneously in boxing history. We're going to look at those 3 fights today in detail, in depth, when he won each division of those 3. Okay, it was Peter Cerrone at featherweight, and Barney Ross at welterweight, and I think it was Lou Amers at lightweight. But we're gonna get into it in a moment. Excuse me, I'm not gonna hit that chair today and mess my toe up. Not today. Okay. No, you're not gonna get me today, chair. Cause I ain't got them steel-toed bedroom slippers. I could have sworn I saw that light over here early, but it's not here. Jesus Christmas. It's gone, bro. I don't need it. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, I dodged that chair today that always messed my toe up because I ain't invented those steel-toed bedroom slippers yet. So, okay, but we're gonna talk about Homicide Hank. Okay. Yeah, don't forget tomorrow we're going to do some fantasy matchups. We're going to match Homicide Hank up with Aaron Pryor because they were virtually the mirror images of each other. Pryor might have a little bit better boxing skill because sometimes he would like ease up on that relentless style and box a little bit. Homicide Hank never slowed down. He was just all out pressure. Remember, every now and then Pryor would slow up and box a little bit. Not Homicide Hank. He was coming at you. D1 from the Angry White Men podcast in the building. Friday nights at 10 p.m. Everybody not subscribed to D1, please do that. You can put the link in there if you want to, D1. That's D1 and William Old School Rant. The Angry White Men podcast. Came out and took straight off into the stratosphere. And now they are going full speed ahead over there. Fridays at 10 p.m. D1, William Old School Rant, the Angry White Men podcast. Salute D1. Homicide Hank today. Okay, so let's get started on Homicide Hank, Henry Armstrong. You know, he's the only one to ever win 3 titles, only man to hold 3 titles at the same time. Now, Ann Wolf also did it. Ann Wolf had 3 titles at the same time on the female side. We're going to look at her briefly later, but mainly Henry Armstrong today. Okay? So a key part of Henry Armstrong, I'm on the wrong page. Start on page 1, Cass, not page 2. Here we go. Henry Armstrong's boxing style was a relentless, suffocating pressure style, characterized by constant forward movement, an aggressive body attack, and the ability to fight effectively on the inside or outside, right? He was known for swarming opponents, pinning them against the ropes, using his forehead to disrupt their stance, and overwhelming them with a constant barrage of punches, which earned him the nickname Homicide Hank. Now, this approach, combined with exceptional stamina and craftiness, made him one of the most formidable pressure fighters in boxing history. Okay, one of the most formidable in history. Yeah, Tank Davis did it too. Tank held 3 different weight classes simultaneously. One of 3. Okay, Tank Davis. Yeah, what was it? 126, 130, and 135. Yeah, because I remember when he beat Leo Santa Cruz. Yeah, okay, D1 says Tank Davis also did it. So we're going to have to cover him one of these days. We did something on Tank a little while back when we did active fighters on the first Friday. And by the way, next Friday is the first Friday of November, so we're going to do Shakur Stevenson. Okay, but thank you, D1. Tank Davis. Javante getting ready to fight Jake Paul next month. Is it real or is it Memorex? I think it's real. This one. Mm-hmm. It's next month though, coming up. I think it's early in the month too. 14th, something like that. The first or second weekend of the month. Okay, so let's get back to Homicide Hank then. So yeah. Now Armstrong used relentless pressure to constantly advance on his opponents and create an overwhelming and exhausting pace from start to finish. He could go all non-stop, all 15 rounds. And tomorrow we're going to match him up with Aaron Pryor. Okay? We're going to do 6 fantasy matchups tomorrow. Homicide Hank versus Aaron Pryor. They were almost like mirror images of each other. Jack Johnson versus Sonny Liston. Marvin Hagler versus Roy Jones Jr. Ernie Shavers versus Deontay Wilder. Somebody going to sleep in that one. Roberto Duran versus Julio Cesar Chavez. And Ezra Charles against, he's thought to be the greatest light heavyweight ever. So get Ezra Charles against Sam Langford, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Dwight Muhammad Quabi, Michael Spinks, and Roy Jones Jr. Okay, back to Homicide Hank. Okay, so Now, he was a master of inside close-range fighting, too, using his short reach to his advantage to pin opponents against the ropes and disrupt their balance. Now, key parts of his strategy was a brutal and effective body attack. It wore his opponents down over the course of a fight. And Armstrong employed physical and tactical disruptions, such as using his forehead and shoulders to control his opponent's posture and balance, making it difficult for them to generate power for their own punches. And while known for his power and brutality, he was also very crafty, using brilliant traps and smooth escapes, which helped him control his opponents and set up his own attack. Homicide Hank. And finally, he would sometimes lead with a leaping left hook to close the distance quickly and surprise opponents, a tactic that was effective due to his lower starting point and head movement. Okay, so now we're gonna look at those the 3 fights that made him champion in 3 different divisions simultaneously. We're gonna take a look at those fights now, okay? And we're gonna take a look at Ann Wolf too. Ann Wolf did it too, okay? So that makes Ann Wolf, Tank, and Homicide, Hank, Ann Wolf, and Tank in that order then. Because yeah, Ann Wolf also did it. You know, on the women's side, she had three divisions. She had junior middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight. She did fight at middleweight, but she never won a title there. And that last one against Vonda Ward, wow. Whew. Vonda Ward was coming in and ran right into the punch. All Ann had to do was throw it. It was mainly Vonda Ward's forward momentum that got her starched out like that. She ran right into it. Yes, she did. Okay. The great Henry Armstrong. Okay. But how's everybody this Tuesday afternoon? Thursday, we're going to look at boxing in Italy. On Thursdays, we're looking at different countries around the world. And Friday, we got 10 fighters we're going to take a look at. Okay. That's the week. Still early, though. Tuesday. Wow. Now, in the days of 8 traditional weight divisions and only 1 world champion in each, right? Henry Armstrong won the featherweight, welterweight, and lightweight championships in that order. In doing so, he defeated Peter Saran, Barney Ross, and Lou Ambers, respectively, in the space of 10 months. They did this in less than a year. Okay? 10 months. Not bad for a starting reference point. But before we start throwing around the names of Henry's many other illustrious opponents, let's revisit that important word, perspective. Okay? Now, Armstrong, in the almost unanimous opinion of many esteemed historians, was never a more destructive force in the ring than when he reigned in his natural domain of the featherweight class. 126 was his natural weight class. Okay, 126. And he never truly stopped being a featherweight, because when he was at welterweight, he still fought it like in the 130s, you know. Featherweight was 126, but he never got far from that. When he was at 147, by the time of the fight, he was back down in the 130s. So he never really left featherweight, to be honest with you. Yeah, Homicide Hank. Now, he blistered his way through the featherweight division before wrecking Peter Saran with a single punch to win the world title. Yet more often than not, Armstrong is classified as a welterweight in the various all-time rankings due to his multiple defenses of the 147-pound crown. And winning that championship from another all-time great is from the legendary Barney Ross. Armstrong defended that title 18 times in 17 months, okay? 18 title defenses in 17 months. Wow. And he finally ran out of gas and lost to Fritzy Zivik. Fritzy Zivik beat him in the first fight, and then he beat him in the rematch. But yeah, 18 times in 17 months. You can't blame the man for running out of gas, right? Wow. Now, in the midst of his barnstorming welterweight reign, Armstrong gave Lou Ambers the chance to regain the lightweight crown. And Lou did so on a highly controversial decision, snapping a 46-fight winning streak for him. He had a 46-fight winning streak going on. Okay? Wow. Fouling, especially low blows, would cost Henry a great many penalty points throughout his career. He was punished severely by referee Arthur Donovan in the return fight with Ambers. All of 5 rounds were taken away from Armstrong. 5 rounds. Yet neutral observers still thought he should have won the fight. Right? So he's getting penalized. He ended up losing 5 rounds, and people at ringside still thought he won. I guess the judges said, wow, all those penalty points, no way we can give you the fight. But some people at ringside thought he still won. Among some of the people that thought he won was Henry McLemore of the Associated Press. He said the following about the referee, Donovan. Arthur Donovan is the new lightweight boxing champion of the world. He said the referee cheated so bad. Instead of the man that beat Armstrong, this writer called the referee the champion. He's a bit fat for the title, particularly in his head. But he won the title at Yankee Stadium last night. He won it for Lou Ambers by rendering a decision as questionable as a mongrel's paternity. Yeah, back then, sometimes the referee was the sole judge of the fight. Yeah, that was stunning, the way he called that fight. Now, why are these latter achievements of Armstrong so stunning? Because in the opinion of many writers of the day, Henry was on the wane when he stepped up to begin that grand and prolonged assault on the bigger men when he got to welterweight. He had already campaigned with almost ridiculous regularity against umpteen world-class opponents. By the time he graduated from the featherweight division, he had compiled what would now be regarded as a career's worth of fights, and then some. Okay? Yeah, by the time he left featherweight, he had a whole career compared to nowadays, and then some. His high-octane style of relentless attacking required him to work virtually flat out for every round. That many fights and that brand of fighting eventually erode the skills and durability of even the hardest cases. The old-time writers felt similarly about the toy bulldog Mickey Walker when he graduated from the welterweight to the middleweight division. Mick was jaded, they said, shot-worn over the hill. And that's hard to believe when we examine the toy bulldog's achievements after he moved up, right? Such was the extraordinary toughness and resilience of men like Mickey Walker and Henry Armstrong. Okay? Those guys back then was just built different. Now, Henry, like most fighters of this era, quite probably had more fights than his official career record of 180. Probably had many more because record keeping was a little sketchy back then. So he likely had more than 180 fights. Okay. Cameron Terrell in the building. Salute, Cameron. How are you today? My friend. Good to see you. We talked about Henry Armstrong. I'm always harping about those 3 divisions simultaneously. So we're going to take a look at them in 1 minute. When he won the title in all 3 divisions, okay? But salute, Cameron. Just a little background on it right now, that's all. Yeah, but guys were built different back then. Now, officially, he had 180 total fights in his career, but he probably had more because record keeping was sketchy. And see, BoxRec got him for 180. Okay. Now, he won 149 of them. And he's in the 100 knockout club with 101 knockouts. Now, when Hermie was way over the hill, he was outpointed by his young admirer, Sugar Ray Robinson, at Madison Square Garden. And time permitting, we're going to cover that fight too. He was Sugar Ray's idol, and when they fought, Henry was way over the hill then, but he still thought he could beat Sugar Ray. But he couldn't do it. He was way over the hill. Now, Sugar Ray Robinson, he beat Sugar Ray at Madison Square Garden. Now, Sugar Ray waged a retreating battle out of respect to his idol. Sugar Ray claimed that he didn't want to hurt Henry, right? Now, Henry didn't appreciate that compliment. He said that Sugar Ray retreated out of fear, right? Homicide Hank wasn't no BS. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He said Sugar Ray was scared. That's why he was running. Okay. As to the overall quality of Armstrong's opposition, if some of the names we already mentioned aren't enough for you, there are plenty of others to pick from. Henry's ongoing series with the fiery and dangerous Baby Arizmendi, that was the first ever Mexican champion, boxing champion, Baby Arizmendi. Henry had a long-going series with him. That was loaded with thrills, controversy, and subplots, which cannot be done justice within the confines of just, one little story. You have to probably do a whole show on the series between Henry and Baby Arizmendi. Then they had wins over the Sterling likes of Frankie Click, Benny Bass, Chalky Wright, Ernie Roderick, Pedro Montanez, Seferino Garcia, Lou Jenkins, Tippy Larkin, Bojack, Sammy Angot, Willie Joyce, and Al Bummy Davis, and others, okay? And many others, Homicide Hank. Now, his ring style, we just talked about that, it was all his own, even though it's easy at first sight to group him with other famous fighters of a similarly relentless attack, like Aaron Pryor. Very similar. Aaron might have been a little better skillful boxer than Homicide Hank, but they both went out there and just went at you for 15 rounds. Both had great gas tanks, too. Just swinging from all kinds of angles. Punches coming from everywhere. And they're going to fight each other tomorrow on Cast Sports. Henry Armstrong versus Aaron Pryor. Right here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Don't miss it. Okay? Now, Henry bobbed, weaved, ducked, rolled, jinked, and fired a constant hail of punches from all angles, but always in his uniquely herky-jerky way. One historian described Armstrong's perpetual motion as a quiver. When the referee broke the action, Henry would jig and jog straight back into the fray like a tenacious little pre-programmed robot. It was a style that won him many colorful nicknames, but Homicide Hank was the favorite of most people. That was my favorite. Because Homicide Hank sound meaner than Homicide Henry, right? Or Hammering Hank. Yeah, Homicide Hank. That was my favorite, Homicide Hank. Yeah. Okay. Now, you describe a fighter as a whirlwind, and many get the impression of a man who flares away at random and hits the target by the law of averages. Now, Armstrong's style was often frenetic, and he could certainly miss the target. But Henry was a canny and educated puncher, an expert at hunting an opponent and cutting him off. He could jab, hook, cross, and throw uppercuts with damaging speed and force. He was also deceptively adept at slipping punches, as was Roberto Duran. Now, fighting the peak Armstrong at his absolute best could crush a man's spirit and will, because Henry was simply unstoppable. The little dynamo just kept boring in all night long, seemingly impervious to return fire, right? Didn't matter who it was, he just walked straight through it, just kept coming. And that will break your will, you know? You're hitting this guy with everything you got, and when you look up, here he comes again. And he was a little guy, he wasn't that big. And way up at welterweight, a natural featherweight, and you just pummeling him. Then you look up, here he comes again. that will definitely break your will. He was a punishing puncher who set up his third and final fight with Fritzy Zivic. I made him bleed inside. I hit him to the body. How I hit him? He said he had this man bleeding inside. Armstrong was on the slide when he delivered that merciless beating to Zivic in their non-title confrontation at the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco in 1942. Yeah, he was on the downside then, 1942, because he started like 1929, remember? Henry's equation for success was blissfully simple in his own mind. I hit you in the middle, your chin comes down. I hit you in the chin, you go down. That was his philosophy, very simple. Again, I hit you in the middle, your chin comes down, I hit you in the chin, you go down. You know, it ain't rocket science, you know, very simple. That was his philosophy in the ring, right? Now, sports writer Roland Melton met up with Armstrong in 1958 when he was long retired, right? He was still in pretty good shape then. And this is what Melton wrote. Henry Armstrong, for the benefit of the young generation, was a fighter of extraordinary talent and action. He campaigned in the 1930s and early 40s, when some folks stood in line for bread and salt pork, or told a guy at the bar entrance, Joe sent me. As far as many of the young generation's elders are concerned, Henry was just about the finest thing that happened since Prohibition. Today's steady TV diet looks like love making. Today, if variety is among the more gentle act, he writes, it was a scientific fight. Invariably, the winner, be he a bum or not, will immediately call for a title shot. Just like the guy just did Saturday. Fabio Wardley, he don't deserve no title shot. But getting one good win, now he wants Usyk. That's what this man was talking about. You know, one good win, all of a sudden now you deserve a title shot. What about Carvalho and all them people? Fight one of them. Beat Carvalho, then you deserve a title shot. Wardley. Now, Armstrong wasn't a vocal champ. He just fought. All comers. He won 3 world titles, featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight, from October 1937 to August 1938. He held all 3 simultaneously. Okay. Now, let's take a little look at his background before we get to these fights. Anyway, I promise we're going to get to them. Okay, what's up, Kong? Hope I got that right today. You told me how to pronounce it. I still probably got it wrong. But salute, Kong. Kong, all the way from Great Britain in the building today. Talking about Homicide Hank today. I'm always harping about those 3 championships in different weight classes simultaneously. So we're going to take a look at them. But let's take a look at a little background. We did this a while back, but he was born Henry Melody Jackson Jr. on December 12, 1912, right? Now, America was teeming with hungry fighters when Armstrong left high school and decided he would join the great Fisted Gold Rush. Now, the year was 1929. America was reeling from the Wall Street crash, and Henry recalled, it was jumping out of the window season. I was a $15 a week railroader. One day I picked up a newspaper and saw where Kid Chocolate got $30,000 for a half hour's work in the ring. That did it. I quit my job on the railroad on the spot, and it was boxing from then on. So that's where got him started. He picked up a newspaper, and Kid Chocolate, who was in the fight of the day today, he was on the sports part of the sports page that said, hey, how he had just fought and made $30,000 in 1929, right? So Henry said, I quit my job. He was working for the railroad. He said, I quit my job on the spot and went into boxing. Now, accompanied by friends, Eddie Foster and Harry Armstrong, Henry began his ring career as Melody Jackson. It was his real name was Henry Jackson. I don't know where he got the. Was Melody his middle name? I think Melody was his middle name. But he started his career as Melody Jackson and traveled all over the country looking for fights. Started in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Then he went to Chicago, and then he went to Los Angeles, California. Now, Chicago didn't hold fond memories for the future triple-weight champion. The drinking water gave Henry a bad stomach, and then he was rebuffed by a famous manager. Armstrong's pal Eddie Foster tried to talk Jack the Deacon Hurley into taking a look at Henry. But Hurley replied, take this kid back home and send him back to high school. Because remember, he had dropped out of high school. This big-time manager told his buddy, take him back home and send him back to high school. He's not ready for boxing yet. The rejection of Armstrong was one of the few mistakes of the Deacon's illustrious career. Yeah, he missed out on that one. So then after Chicago, he went to California, okay, to try his hand out there in California, okay. Henry Armstrong and Ezzard Charles arguably pound for pound the best boxers of all time. Good argument, Carl. Yeah, Ezzard, I definitely got Ezzard for my like heavyweight best. Now I got Sugar Ray Robinson 1 all time. Sugar Ray Robinson 1, Muhammad Ali 2, and then 3 is a toss-up between Willie Pep and Henry Armstrong. Willie Pep and Henry Armstrong is 3 and 4, whichever order. I ain't mad at you. But one of them is 3, one of them is 4 between Willie Pep and Henry Armstrong. Sugar Ray Robinson Ali is 1 and 2. Pep and Armstrong 3 and 4. Either order. I ain't mad at you. Okay. So yeah, 3 or 4 for Henry for me. But yeah, pound for pound is very, very good argument for that. That was in there by Kong. Okay. Yeah, so then he went to California. So in California, Henry ditched the name of Melody Jackson, started calling himself Henry Armstrong. Because one of his friends with him was Harry Armstrong, so he took his last name. You know, his real original, his name was Henry Melody Jackson, so he took Henry Armstrong. Right? That name was officially born in California. Now, his progress through the ranks in the years that followed would prove to be every bit as fast and sensational as his non-stop style of fighting. In 1936, singer Al Jolson and actor George Raft bought Armstrong's contract for $10,000, right? So now you got some big heavy hitters with money behind him, okay? A singer and an actor. And just as the days of Milk and Honey were approaching, Henry was shrewdly steered by his worldly manager, Eddie Meade, whose salty friends and associates included the likes of mobsters, Bugsy Siegel, Frankie Carbo, and Ruby Keeler, okay? But you know, the mob was kind of like controlling the sport in them days, so I'm not saying he was throwing fights, but you know, many boxers had some kind of affiliation, had a mob manager, or their manager was affiliated with mafia figures. So that's the sign of the times, right? He never got accused of throwing a fight or anything, though. No, that's not what I'm saying. The Homicide Hank didn't disappoint anyone. There was no such thing as a boring Armstrong fight. No such thing. Just like it was never a boring Aaron Pryor fight, never a boring Armstrong fight, okay? His fists would keep pumping relentlessly, and many of his shots would stray south of the border or conveniently jam thumb first into an opponent's eye. It was a tough game in Henry's era, and every seasoned pro knew all the tricks and committed similar offenses. Yeah. Fritz T. Zivic's hyperactive thumbs would give Henry permanent cataract problems in his right eye. Permanent cataract problems from being thumbed by Fritz T. Zivic during their fight. Okay, let's get into these 3. When he had 3 titles at the same time, let's get started with that. The first one was featherweight against Petey Saran. Okay, there's him and Petey. Henry on the left, Petey on the right. Okay, that was his first title, featherweight. Remember, he got all three of those titles in 10 months, less than a year. Like I said earlier, he defended the welterweight title belt 18 times in 17 months. How do you do that? 18 times in 17 months. Wow. That's fighting there. So them guys were just built different. So he fought Peter Cerrone for the featherweight title on October 29th, 1937. Wow. Ain't today the 20th? No, today the 28th. Okay. So that's let's say like 88 years from tomorrow. Before tomorrow. 88 years, 37 to 20, 1925. 88 years, right? Subtract 10. Carry a half or a tenth of 230. Yeah, 88 years. Right. Got it. 88 years ago tomorrow. Now, but somehow fitting, the Henry Armstrong's 3 world championships were all won in boxing's one-time capital city of New York. Won them all in New York, too. Isn't that something? Mike Mazik in the building. What's up, Mike? Yeah, won all 3 of these titles that they had simultaneously in New York. Henry Armstrong today, Mike. Okay. Yeah, he won all of them in New York. It was the perfect stage for guards and greatness. In the humble opinion of one writer, it still is. Now, Henry was the 4-1 underdog going up against Peter Cerrone before a crowd of 12,000 at Madison Square Garden. But the feeling among those in the know was that Cerrone, fast coming up on age 31, was ready to be taken after campaigning busily abroad in England and South Africa. So they was thinking Cerrone was ready for an upset, okay? Coming in at 4-1 odds. But they say he was right for the picking. One punch was enough to win the fight for Homicide Hank in the 6th round, when Cerrone's legs caved in under the force of the payoff shot and sent him to the floor for the first time in his career. Now, he was struggling on his hands and knees to get up, but Petey appeared to lose track of referee Arthur Donovan's count in the great roar of the crowd. And Cerrone argued later that he could have continued fighting, but you didn't beat the count, Petey. But his uncertain movement on rising betrayed him. He did beat the count, but Donovan took one look at his legs and the way he was moving and stopped it. Dazed and unsteady, he had to be stayed by Donovan. Yeah, and you know, if they stopped a fight back then, it really deserved to be stopped because you had to really be in bad shape, like 1930? I just read it. 1937. You had to really be in bad shape for a referee to stop a fight back then. Back then, they usually let you go out on your shield, you know, make it to the card, so you had to get starched out for the on the deck 10-count knockout. So if that referee stopped that fight, he had to be in bad shape. Because fights didn't get stopped that often back in them days. Now, the two fighters were involved in a tremendous exchange, but Armstrong pulled the trigger and uncorked the overhand right that unhinged Cerrone and finished his evening. Now, Peter had fared well through the first 3 rounds of the scheduled 15-round fight. An awkward and unconventional fighter, described by one reporter as having an eccentric pinwheel style. Peter fired in punches from strange angles that knocked Henry off balance and seemed to have him puzzled. But ringsiders noticed the snarl on Armstrong's face, and more significantly, the menacing glint in his eye. While Cerrone's volume of punching was making life difficult for Henry, the quality blows were coming from the relentless little challenger, Armstrong. The Armstrong opened the 3rd round by doubling the right hand to body and head, and clearly hurt Cerrone. Now, Henry would lose the round on a foul. I don't know why he got that same referee Donovan, because that's the one that had cheated him before, remember? But the same referee in there, in the other fight against, I forgot who it was. The referee, he lost 5 rounds on fouls because of the referee. And now here you go again. He lost the 3rd round because of the referee, right? Yeah, for stray blows, right? And he lost the third round on a foul. That second right to the head sent Petey careening into the ropes and drained him of his speed and evasiveness. Okay. Now Armstrong was now in the ascendancy, and Cerrone could only enjoy his brief moments of success and delay the killer wave that would swamp him. Okay. It was a game show of resilience from Petey, especially after being lashed with a right to the head and a debilitating left to the body in the fifth round. Now, Petey continued to spit defiance in the fateful sixth round. Armstrong always had a look of fragility about him, and now he began to look frighteningly. Cerrone always had a look of fragility about him, and now he began to look frighteningly vulnerable. Armstrong trapped him on the ropes and larped him for a good minute before Petey fired back. His revival did not last for long. Henry's constant pressure was forcing Cerrone to make mistakes, and Petey committed the cardinal error in the frantic exchange of punches that preceded the knockout. He dropped his left hand, and Armstrong finished him in a flash with a booming right hand right over the dropped left. And that was in for Petey. That was the first one, featherweight, okay? So now he's got featherweight. Then he goes all the way from featherweight to welterweight, 21 pounds. Right? Went from 126 to 147. But he never fought anywhere near 147. He was fighting in the 130s when he was fighting at the 147-pound limit. Right? Mm-hmm. So Barney Ross, this fight was at the Long Island Bowl, Long Island, New York, May 31st, 1938. And he did them all in the course of 10 months, remember? So let's keep in mind when the first one was again. Let me write that down. Who was it? Should have did that at first. Anybody remember? No, it was 1937. Okay. October 29th, 1937. So then the one against Cerrone was in May of 38. So not too many. He did it all in 10 months. October. Yeah, I could remember that because that's tomorrow's date. Okay, so welterweight. Barney Ross. I always get Benny Leonard and Barney Ross mixed up. Very similar fighters. Let me just keep going because every time I try to do something, I messed up. Now I don't know where I was at. Barney Ross, right? Okay, let's get back there. But how's everybody today? Don't forget, we got some fantasy matchups tomorrow. Henry Armstrong going to fight Aaron Pryor. Jack Johnson against Sonny Liston. Ernie Shavers against Deontay Wilder. Roberto Duran against Julio Cesar Chavez. And Ezra Charles going to fight 5 light heavyweights. Darren Langford, Michael Spinks, Matthew Saad, Muhammad Roy Jones, and Muhammad Kwawi. And there was one more. That's it. Marvin Hagler and Roy Jones Jr. Okay. Yeah. Now, Barney Ross at welterweight was his second. Now, if I had went back looking for that date, we would be halfway through it now. But that's him and Barney Ross up there on the screen. Okay, tune in tomorrow for the finish. No, I'm just kidding again. I really can't find it. Damn, gas. After I get back, I'm just going to keep right on through. We're going to finish it. Okay, Petey Cerrone, we did that. Barney Ross should be next. Here we go. Okay. I'm not going back looking for nothing. We're just going forward. Okay, let's go. This was the second title, Barney Ross, May 31st, 1938. Let me write that down right now so I don't have to go back looking for it. May 31st, 1938. The second one was October 29th, 1937. So a few months apart. Okay, Barney Ross. Let's get into that one. This was the second title he won when he had 3 simultaneously. VVO Sports TV from the Sports Talk Network, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. The founder of the STN, Sports Talk Network. VVO Sports TV in the building. Luke VVO. Talking about Homicide Hank today. Okay, this is the second title of the 3 weight classes. Was at welterweight. Now, remember, he went all the way from featherweight to welterweight. That's crazy. 21-pound jump. Wow. I don't even know how that's possible. But Homicide Hank did it. You would think 3 different weight classes be like flyweight, super flyweight, junior bantamweight. That's just like 6 pounds between them. But this man went 3 weight classes, a difference of 21 pounds apart, right? Featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. Now, Barney Ross was a fabulous fighter and the proud owner of a spectacular career. The gifted New York-born Chicagoan was the reigning world welterweight champion, who had also won the junior welterweight and lightweight titles. He had 3 divisions, but not at the same time. He had lost just 3 of his 80 fights, 77-3 record, right? And had never been stopped. Never. Somehow he wasn't knocked out or even knocked down against Armstrong. Yeah. He finished on his feet, unlike Simon. What a dreadful shellacking Ross took, right? He never fought again after fighting Armstrong. They were 15 hellish rounds. And Barney Ross retired after the fight, okay? To this day, if you look at the film of that brutal encounter, you would just marvel at the ferocity of it. And you would have to marvel at the courage of Ross, too, for the beating he took in less than 15 rounds. His corner was begging him to let them stop it. But he like, no, I'm going out on my shield. Anytime your corner is begging you to let them stop the fight. And he said, no, stop it, all y'all fight. No, he didn't say that. I made that part up. But yeah, they was begging him to stop the fight, his corner, but he wouldn't let him. So yeah, if you look at that Armstrong and Ross, you got the marvel at the beating Homicide was putting on him, but you also got the marvel at the courage that Ross had to continue fighting through that. And he did, you know. It is said that Armstrong took to the scales for the Ross fight with lead in his boots. Because remember, he coming from 126. So they said he had lead in his boots, right? To get that weight up. And many onlookers might have been forgiven for thinking it was Henry's gloves that were loaded. The Armstrong was jumping straight from featherweight to welterweight, like I was saying, for this audacious challenge. 21 pounds, okay? His last fight had been at 126, now he at 147. So that's why I said everybody was thinking he must have lead or something in his boot, which presented him with a problem in the run-up to the fight. A naturally small man, he had to puff himself up from 126 pounds and get as near to 147 as he could. At his training camp at Pompton Lakes, excuse me, he began to drink large amounts of beer, which in turn would galvanize his appetite. Okay? And the pounds piled on. But Armstrong was still short of the mark on the day of the fight. He had to weigh in at noon. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, he and trainer Eddie Mead asked their doctor, Alexander Schiff, for advice. And the solution was simple, albeit intense. Either breakfast of steak with plenty of potatoes, followed by binge drinking of water. And Henry was nearly floating at the weigh-in, where he claimed to hit the scales at 139 and a half. And by the time of the fight, he was back down to 133 and a half. And they had same-day weigh-ins then. But so he was 139 and a half at the morning weigh-in, and by that night, he was back down to 133 and a half. And Ross was damn near 160, right? Because Ross, after the weigh-in, most fighters go up, right? After the weigh-in, Homicide Hank came down, right? That's crazy. But he actually came down. You know, Ain't that crazy? Most fighters struggling to make weight is struggling to get down. He was struggling to make weight, struggling to go up. And after he made weight, most fighters go up. After he made weight, Homicide Hank came down. Even Eddie Meade, his trainer, couldn't believe it. That he made it. While the commissioner name was somebody failing back then. The commissioner was aghast. He actually asked Armstrong if he had weights in his shoes or something. Because, you know, he weighed in fully dressed. Most fighters try to take everything off. He had his shoes, everything on weighing, right? And the commissioner asked him, do he have weights in his shoes? And he was like, no. Both men laughingly dismissed foul play. And the room was cleared. And Henry was weighed in private, and the result was still the same. It was a good thing they didn't stick a pin in him, because they probably would have been drowned. All the water would have came out of him. You know, all the water he had drank. But his weight-making ability, much like that of Archie Moore, was a constant source of fascination. Drastic measures never seemed to affect Henry's performance, though, when he got in the ring. And it was the same thing against Ross. All that drinking water and making weight, then losing 6 pounds, none of that affected him when that bell rang, okay? It was a wonder that Barney was able to stay upright through the 245 minutes of action. Ross never went down, though, okay? Twice, his handlers pleaded with him to let them stop the fight. You know, his team in the corner was begging him to let them stop it. But he was like, no, let me finish. So they let him go. Even the referee, Arthur Donovan, was telling Barney, wanted to stop it, but he didn't. Because I told you back then it took a lot to stop a fight. You know, and the referee wanted to, but he didn't. He saw Barney wanted to go on, so he let him go on. Nowadays, that would have been stopped. If the referee wanted to stop it, his corner was begging him to stop it, but Barney would have none of it. At the end of it all, the big crowd at the Long Island Bowl was almost silent when an inevitable decision was announced. Ross was hugely liked to the point of being almost a saint in many people's eyes, because he was from New York, remember? Much like a kindly priest, he was not supposed to get so viciously mugged. And before the storm broke and the leather rained down from Armstrong, Ross battled Henry on even terms. For the first 6 rounds, the fight was competitive and exciting. Then Armstrong began to move and punch in earnest, scaling those giddy heights that few others could reach. Outweighed by almost 30 pounds, because, you know, he came down and Ross was like 160 coming in. He gained like 13 pounds. So yeah, he was way, at least 20 pounds he was outweighed by. And Armstrong seemed immeasurably bigger and more powerful than Barney as the one-sided contest rumbled on. It is a constantly intriguing mirage. No, Ross was 150. That's right, 150, not 160, 150. So yeah, he put on 13 pounds. And that was just from that morning, because the weigh-in was the same day then. So he's putting on pounds between them. Yeah, he put on 13 pounds from that morning to that night. Wow. Because he was 150 and Henry was 133 by the time of the fight. So he was outweighed him by 17 pounds, but Henry still put a beating on him. The beating began in the 7th round, because remember, they fought the first 6 rounds on even terms. The beating began in the 7th round, even though Barney won that round after the point deducted from Henry for a low blow. Same referee again, Arthur Donovan. Seems like he deducts the point for Henry every time he fights. So Barney got the 7th round, even though the beating began in that round. And Ross was all at sea thereafter, a man cut off from his sunny little island and tossed into a violent maelstrom. His right eye was banged shut for the last 8 rounds, representing just a percentage of the facial damage he inherited from Armstrong's roaring fists. At the finish, the right side of Barney's face was horribly swollen, the left side covered in welts, and his nose and mouth were leaking blood. It was a minor miracle to most how Ross had managed to navigate his way through the last 3 rounds and he never went down. For in the 12th round, he seemed to be on the verge of total collapse. His knees sagged and his body bent fully over after Armstrong had battered him with a volley of rights to the head. In the 14th round, Ross was spun around by a big left hook, and the air turned to a red mist from the spray of his blood. Yeah, nowadays that would have meant stop. He punched him, and you could see blood flying up into the air, man. Wow. That's why his corner was begging him to let them stop it. Henry closed in on Barney, weaving, hooking, and slamming away for the knockout. But the fighting instincts of Ross again prevailed as he tucked up and blocked many of the follow-up blows. Determined to close the fight out like a champion, Barney somehow found the reserves to rally back at Henry in the 15th and final round. But while Armstrong was finally tiring, there was no steam in the fading champion's punches. Henry once again had proven himself a master of short-range punching. He missed his share of blows, but the majority that hit the target were withering in their force and accuracy. Barney couldn't box Henry, and he couldn't fight him. There were not too many men who could. So finally, he came back, well, didn't really come back down to lightweight, because when he fought that fight, he was below the lightweight limit at 133. So the next one was at lightweight, though, August 17th, 1938. So yeah, he won the first one less than a year. October 1937. Remember, the second one was May 38, and the last one was August 1938. That's 10 months. August 17th, 1938 was Lou Ambers. I was going to look at Henry's top 12 victories too, but we might not have time. But yeah, we'll see, because I didn't know this would take this long. It's almost 3:30. But anyway, Lou Ambers he took the lightweight title. There's him and Lou. No, that's not him and Lou. Yeah, there's Lou going down. There's something he couldn't do to Barney Ross, though. He couldn't get Barney off his feet. But that's bad, man, when your corner's begging you to stop the fight. Yeah, nowadays, they would have just threw the towel, or the referee would have stopped, or the ring doctor. I don't even know. I think they had ringside doctors back then. After the 1920, I forgot that. The New York something law went into effect that they had doctors, had medical personnel all fights, 15 rounds, 3-minute time limits, and couldn't throw people down anymore and all that kind of stuff. Because one time people used to jump in the ring and help their fighter, and they could do it. You bet on, like in the 1800s, you bet on a certain fighter, he losing, jump in there and help him out, right? I mean, you got money on it. You jump in there. Lou Ambers, August 17th, 1938, okay? There was a split decision win for Henry Armstrong over Lou Ambers at Madison's back at the Garden. All three was in New York, remember? Henry had made history. The magnificent little Titan was the simultaneous holder of 3 world championships, but he had needed to summon up all his phenomenal energy and determination to dethrone the fiery Ambers in a bloody and spectacular fight for Lou's lightweight title, okay? Now, such was the intensity of Henry's effort. He finished the fight with leaden arms and close to exhaustion. He looked terrible in his dressing room, with cut and bruised eyes and a damaged lip that required stitches. It was some time before he could haul himself off the rubbing table and walk to the shower. Armstrong lost 3 rounds for low blows. I bet you know who the referee was. He lost 3 rounds for low blows, and then had to contend with a mighty rally from Ambers down the stretch. Now, Henry benefited from a barnstorming start in which he compiled a significant points lead, and he needed them to. Few writers disputed that he was a deserving winner, even though Ambers survived near disaster to charge back and whittle down Henry's points advantage. Lou was nearly bowled out of the fight near the close of the 5th round when he was saved by the belt after being hammered to the canvas by an explosive right to the jaw. That must be that picture right there, yeah. The bell saved. Things scarcely improved for Ambrose in the 6th round, when he was cut down again for a count of 8. Both knockdowns occurred as Lou was trying to escape from close quarters, where Armstrong was in his element, as he dug away with his favorite combination of a left to the body and a right to the jaw. But Ambrose was a tough and clever man, a great champion in his own right, who could tilt with the best of them. They called him the Herkimer Hurricane, and he was from upstate New York too. He just didn't know how to bow out gently. He was a tough guy, yeah, dirty too. Henry kept punching. He always did. Failure to finish an opponent after an early success never dispirited Armstrong. He believed that if you chop at a tree for long enough, it will eventually come down. In a ferocious 11th round, he tossed everything he had at Ambrose, but Lou would not go and was still full of fight. Ambrose fought back to take the next 3 rounds, 2 of them due to Armstrong's infraction. But then Lou faced another major onslaught in the 14th as Henry raced for the wire. A right hand catapulted Ambrose into the ropes, which saved him from his 3rd trip to the canvas. In the 15th and final round, Armstrong butted and pounded Ambrose into the ropes as blood ran down Lou's right leg from Henry's cut mouth. The crowd of 18,000 was roaring as the right to the jaw shook Ambrose, but it was Lou who came on strong in the final seconds as the 2 great warriors traded punches beyond the bell in the bedlam. Yeah, they kept fighting after the bell. Ambrose once again has shown himself to be a remarkably durable and determined man with excellent recuperative powers. But his brave resistance and spirited counter-offense were not enough to save his championship. Most people in the pro-Ambrose crowd booed the decision. They had been particularly swayed by Lou's stirring comeback from adversity, which had resulted in Armstrong walking groggily to the wrong corner at the end of the fight. Lou said that he had suffered no damage from Henry's low blows, though manager Al Will was sufficiently riled to complain to referee Billy Cavanaugh at the end of the 10th round. The Associated Press awarded Armstrong a decisive victory. Was Henry Armstrong a physical freak with amazing stamina? This little man sure was something. With Jesse Owens and Joe Louis also running riot, this seemed no end to the athletic capabilities of these 3 supermen. Doctors and scientists of various capabilities were asked to investigate. We can't say what Henry Armstrong had in the genes, but he did have the not unique gift of a slow heartbeat. Vicente Saldivar, another superb featherweight champion of later years, was similarly blessed. In May 1939, Henry traveled to England to defend his welterweight championship against Ernie Roderick at the old Haringey Arena in London. It was a good chance for the eggheads to probe the American destroyer of men. That's what they got, eggheads. Armstrong was examined by various medics, including a doctor hired by the Daily Express, who concluded, Armstrong is a freak of a generation. He is so perfect a human dynamo that he is scarcely a fair opponent for any normal man near his weight. He must have an oversized heart, not to the point of pathological enlargement, but above normal. His pulse beat is 59, compared with the normal of 72, which makes him capable of astonishing endurance. Right? But that was natural advantages. It wasn't like he was taking no PEDs or nothing. This was the secret of the runner, Paavo Nurmi of Finland. Both Nurmi and Armstrong could will their bodies as cadavers for research workers to examine. Should will their bodies after death. Now, Henry Armstrong outpointed Ernie Roderick over 15 rounds and went back home. He didn't live forever, died at the age of 75 in 1988. And what instructions he left for the cadaver, we don't know. There you have it, Henry Armstrong, Homicide Hank. Okay. And we had some let's look at Ann Wolf very quick, because Ann Wolf had 3 weight divisions too. But we had some of Henry's toughest fights, best wins, and his fight against Sugar Ray Robinson. I wanted to get this Ann in too. Let's look at his fight against Sugar Ray Robinson though. No, his 12 fights, I guess. Yeah, I had 12 of his best wins. I didn't want to get out of order, but I think I am out of order. No, I ain't. Okay, yeah. Let me retrieve my tab. Well, watch out for that chair too. Okay. Yeah, let's look at his 12 biggest wins. 12 big wins for the Homicide Hank. Okay. These are short, not long. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I get ready to say this thing decided for me. Looked like it wanted to act up. Yeah, 12 of Henry's biggest wins. We're going to look at them. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. It's supposed to come up, but it didn't. But you don't forget tomorrow, we got some fantasy fights. Henry Armstrong versus Aaron Pryor, Roberto Duran and Julio Cesar Chavez, Deontay Wilder, Ernest Shavers. First Ernest Shavers. Somebody going to sleep in that one. Did I say Roberto Duran and Julio Cesar Chavez? Marvin Hagler and Roy Jones Jr. All that tomorrow on Cash Sports The Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. Here we go. I got it. Anybody come in? No. Okay, let's take a look at this. 12 of his biggest wins. Okay, the first one is Sammy Engett. That's him and Sammy right there. This was on June 11th, 1943. Against Homicide Hank, not even the clutch Sammy Engett could be boring. The pair of ex-champions fought a scintillating 15-round brawl. It could have happened in a Jeep's rumble seat, as the New York Daily News put it. Now, though Engett was the betting favorite going in, and over-the-hill Armstrong scored a unanimous decision upset in front of 13,000 stunned fans at New York's Madison Square Garden. Oh, that's him and Engett right there. Fritzy Zivik. That's him and Fritzy Zivik right there. Man. Okay, here we go. Fritzy Zivik. Bad eyes and scar tissue contributed to Armstrong's back-to-back losses to Zivik in 1940 and cost him his welterweight championship. Following corrective surgery to remove the scarring, Armstrong was able to walk through headbutts, and low blows to wear Zivik down and win a unanimous decision in the San Francisco Civic Auditorium. As Max Baer, Maxie Rosenblum, John Henry Lewis, Eddie Booker, and Lloyd Marshall looked on. Zivik was just nasty, Henry would later tell Bill Libby of Boxing Illustrated. Yeah, the third time was the charm. He lost the first two to Zivik, but then he got corrected, got his scar tissue fixed and everything, and he won the third fight. Pedro Martinez. His name. I don't know why this is like that. Pedro Martinez. Oh. January 24th, 1940. Hard-hitting Puerto Rican legend and future Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez was the 14th man to challenge Armstrong for the welterweight championship, and the second in that month of January alone. Now, many in Madison Square Garden thought he might be the man to dethrone the champ, but Armstrong overcame the feared puncher with his exhaustive work rate, dropping his challenger 3 times before the referee mercifully stopped the slaughter in the 9th round. Yeah, he had 18 title defenses in 17 months. 1 month, I think it was October, he had 5. October like 1937 or somewhere, might have been 39, but he had 5 title defenses in 1 month. Okay? Yes, he did. Lou Ambers. We did that one. Let's go to the next one. Seferino Garcia. Yeah, Lou Ambers was when he won the one of those titles. I believe Lou Ambers was lightweight. Right? Seferino Garcia. November 25th, 1938. As difficult as it is to ponder at a time when Joe Louis was in his prime, there were those who considered the rugged Filipino Garcia the most murderous hitter in the game. Now, the prior year, he had given the stellar Barney Ross hell in a bid for the welterweight title, and has since won 10 straight as a middleweight. Despite giving up over 12 pounds, Armstrong endured Garcia's infamous Bolo uppercut for 15 rounds to emerge the unanimous winner at Madison Square Garden and successfully defend his welterweight belt. That was his first defense of 18. Wow. And he was winning 3 weight classes at once, almost had 4. And there were only 8 then. But he got robbed. They called it a draw. The fight he really won at middleweight, he would have been world champion in half of the weight classes all at one time. Okay. Homicide Hank. And then the next one was Mike Beloise. Then Lou Jenkins, Baby Arismendi, Petey Saran, we did that. Lou Ambers again. He fought Lou like 3 times. Barney Ross. That's thought might be his biggest fight, Barney Ross. Let's look at this fight between him and Sugar Ray Robinson. And then that's going to be it. I wanted to get that one in because he fought Sugar Ray. He was Sugar Ray's idol, and when he fought Sugar Ray, he was almost 40. I think he was 40. Might have been like 43. And Sugar Ray ran the whole fight. I mean, ran. I don't like calling fighters runners, but Sugar Ray ran. And Sugar Ray said he fought like that because he didn't want to hurt his idol. But Henry Armstrong said Sugar Ray fought like that because he was scared. See, it wasn't about not trying to hurt me. You're a boxer. It's the hurt game. Said Sugar Ray ran because he was scared. That's what Henry said. Mm-hmm. Sugar Ray was scared. That's why he ran. Yeah, the man get in there with you. It ain't your fault if you hurt him. Right? He climb into that squared circle. You get what you get. Everybody understand the risk. So I think Sugar Ray was scared too. He didn't want to get knocked out. He said the power is the last thing to go, remember? Sugar Ray didn't know what he was going to do against that relentless attack, so he just ran. So you got to catch me. And plus, Henry being about 43, he couldn't catch him. I don't know what. I wasn't there. So I got to see if I can. Some of those old fights you can't pull up. I never tried that one, though. I'm going to try that this season to see if I can find Sugar Ray Robinson and Homicide Hank, that fight. It was like in the 40s, I believe. Yeah. Be a good one to watch. But yeah, let's talk about him and Sugar Ray. This is going to be the final one. I had a picture of it. That might be it right there. Yeah, that's him and Sugar Ray. Kind of light. Yeah. That ain't that light. I had the laptop up the wrong way. Here we go. Sugar Ray Robinson and Homicide Hank. Okay. Now, as he was growing up, Sugar Ray Robinson, or Walker Smith Jr., as he was born, analyzed the swarming savagery of Henry Armstrong, or Homicide Hank. And he simultaneously held world titles in 3 weight classes: featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, a time when there were only 8 divisions to aim at. In 1938, Armstrong was second only to heavyweight leader Joe Louis as the biggest star in boxing. Okay, Sugar Ray hadn't started fighting yet in 1938. That's a better picture right there. The other one kind of faded like. Let's go with this one. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Ain't that better? Yeah. Let's go with that one. Yeah, there we go. Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? Thomas Hill says, look, Hank trying to get on the inside in the photo to give that boy Robinson that good word. Yeah, he was. Sugar Ray ran for most of it. Oh, my goodness. What'd I do? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he was trying to get in there, T. Hill. You're right. See how Sugar Ray back, ready to take off. Look, Sugar Ray ready to take off. Ali used to do that, put that left hand up on a person's forehead, holding them back. That's where Ali got it from, Sugar Ray. Look at that. Well, you can tell Sugar Ray ready to take off, ready to take flight. Okay, yeah. But yeah, he is. That's a good point, T. Hill. He is Hank looking, trying to get in, but Sugar Ray ain't letting him. He got that back foot back, ready to step. He gonna run to the right. You can tell. If Homicide Hank. The minute Homicide Hank get too close, Sugar Ray is jetting. He getting out of dodge. You can tell the way he positioned. He ready to go. But Homicide Hank is trying to get in. But yeah. Sugar Ray could have been not trying to hurt his idol. I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find that later on and see. Somebody else told me about it, said Sugar Ray ran, but I'm going to see for myself. If I can find it. He moved the whole fight. Now, was it strategic moving or was he just running for his life? That's the question. We gotta know. Don't forget, tomorrow is we're gonna have a fantasy show again. We haven't done that in a while. We used to have one every Monday. It's gonna be some different fighters this time, though. Okay. Don't miss that. I'm gonna tell you again who's on the card tomorrow when I finish this. Okay, real quick. Tomorrow, again, we're going to have Henry Armstrong versus Aaron Pryor, Jack Johnson versus Sonny Liston, Marvin Hagler versus Roy Jones Jr., Ernie Shavers versus Deontay Wilder. Somebody going to sleep. Roberto Duran versus Julio Cesar Chavez, and the greatest light heavyweight ever, Ezra Charles, going to fight 5 other people at light heavyweight. Sam Langford, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Dwight Muhammad Kwawi, Michael Spinks, and Roy Jones Jr. Don't miss that one. Good show. We used to have some good fantasy shows, remember? And got one coming up tomorrow. Here's the link. Okay, it's right today, too. I ain't gonna start that again, messing the link up. Meanwhile, we had Henry Armstrong and Sugar Ray Robinson going on. Remember? Come on, man, get off the screen. There we go. Yeah, he was Sugar Ray's idol, though. And at that time, in 1938, before Sugar Ray came on the scene, other than Joe Louis, Henry Armstrong was considered by many to be the biggest star in the game. You know? Mm-hmm. By August 27th, 1943, Armstrong's peak had long gone by. His claustrophobic, high-octane, high-tempo style could not go on forever. And when he stepped in the ring with rising star Sugar Ray Robinson at New York's Madison Square Garden, he was fighting on memory. Yeah, Sugar Ray was a rising star. Yeah, Armstrong was fighting on memory by that time. Yeah. Now, those memories had accounted for the majority of his comeback opponents, since losing a pair of world welterweight title fights to Fritzy Zivik in 1940 and 41. But his decline was clear. Even so, he was confident that he could beat the young Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, he thought he could beat Sugar Ray coming in. Yeah. Oh, there we go. What's up, T Hill? I was waiting for somebody to hit it. Oh, I didn't get him up. Let me see. There we go. What's happening, T Hill?
What's good with you, Cass? How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, man. Great show, man. Great show, a great fighter.
Yes.
Truly one of the greats, man.
Yeah.
Superiorly skilled boxer. Fought well into an advanced age and still was able to still handle himself well in the ring. You know, like push people, made people fight even in his older age, his more advanced years, and he was just tremendous.
Yeah,
able to scale 45 pounds up and down continuously and defend fights. Yeah, man, amazing.
Featherweight to welterweight, man. Wow.
Truly sits at the table of the GOATs. Hell, he might be the one.
At the same time, T.O. Featherweight and welterweight. Imagine that, man.
Yeah, was defending him. Going up there, winning titles, defending them, going back down, winning defending them. You know what I'm saying? He did something that, you know, many people take for granted. Yeah, you can go up there and win it, but now defend it, then go back down, defend it, go back down again and defend. Yeah, man, that's tough. Come back up, defend. Yeah, he was a bad boy.
Yeah, and winning. When he finally lost it, he had fought like 18 times in 17 months, so he just ran out of gas. You know? Yeah,
man. You know, well, like I say, it was a different time then. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they could have fought one time and got broke off the way that they get broke off, You don't fight as often as you have to, but back then, you know, it fought, especially for people like us, man. We didn't have very good ways to sustain life for our families. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a better way of going about doing it. And on top of that, you get to exercise a few demons, so to speak. I don't like saying that, but, you know, that is terminology. So, yeah, tremendous inside fighter. Probably the most impeccable inside game of any boxer.
Yeah, I would say so.
Man, you know, just all around, just tough. If you going in there, you got to expect a hard night a hard day's work at the office, man.
Frank, Homicide, Hank,
They in Homicide, Hank, man. Just think about that. Homicide. Getting in the ring with me is like committing homicide, bro.
Yeah, you better bring your lunch pail.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to come up in there. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You got to come with your bulletproof vest, you know, your body armor and everything.
All of that. Hard hat.
And talk about fantastic body work, man. Yeah. Love me some Hammer. I mean, Homicide, Hank.
Yeah. And then when he fought Sugar Ray, I think he was like 43, but he still thought he could beat Sugar Ray. He wasn't just going in there.
Well, that's why you see pretty much in all things, man, youthful exuberance.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people who actually, they age with such grace.
I know.
That they're able to still be somewhat a reflection of what they are. But that's why I say, you know, we see it even in the greats, man. Muhammad Ali spent them 4 years out of the ring. Them 4 years cost him everything that separated him from fighters. So now it just had to be his greatness carrying him through the fight. Whereas before it was special. He just was special and you couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You know, at 47, at 43, my man still is great. He's just no longer special.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go up against somebody else that's special, you might be in for a good night at the office. Whereas you go against somebody that's not special, hey, man, I'm still Hank. You know, I'm still that guy. And you're going to find out tonight. So, it was a huge step. But, you know, it was also, hey, you the new breed. You the new one that's going to come push the floor for it. Yeah, if you want people's blessings, you got to go through it the right way, man. This is the right way. And if you take it, man, run with it. And that's that thing that, you know, I will respect Hank for it, man. He gave him a shot to let him know, hey, look, this is the passing of the torch. Go run with it, man. Go carry it and do great things.
I guess a big name, you know. That was a good platform for Sugar Ray there getting that fight, man.
Absolutely.
He wasn't on the map yet. What better way against Henry Armstrong?
Yeah, and Mike Rim said it best, man.
Yeah.
Mike Rim said it best. He said, back then, everybody was tough. And there wasn't no ducking. Nope. Well, yeah, there wasn't various avenues in which you could go. It was only like a few avenues which you can go to get a fight. Now, there was some folks that weren't getting wrecked. The Murderers Row, they couldn't get fights. Yeah. There were some other people who actually got away without fighting certain folks because, you know, they were tough. Langford got passed over many a times too. But for the most part, it wasn't as much fights not being made because of quote unquote size of the streets or
that kind of nonsense.
It doesn't make business sense.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That's what Mike's saying. Yeah, that kind of nonsense didn't happen.
Yeah, so man, shout out to the fighters back then, man. And then on top of that, it's much like Kaz. I'm pretty sure you know from your time and your generation to the children that you fostered and their children. It's a great gap. Like you guys did things and had to endure things that they don't, and they're not used to or accustomed to. And you see that how softer, so to speak, we have become with our expectations and our handling of things that are quote unquote adverse to us. And likewise, from you to the people before you, it was much tougher.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I heard my parents tell me I had to go to school with cardboard in my shoes. We had to walk miles to get to school and things like this. And we had to do this, and that. Whereas I never had to experience that.
Yeah.
So, you know,
schools and stuff, you know.
You know, it took place in the ring.
Didn't have certain books that the other schools had and everything, you know, the people
Yeah.
like us, you know.
They had to go to school with the same clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Had to share other folks' clothes. So once they were done with the clothes, you had to wear the clothes.
Yeah.
Now kids talking about I can't go to school because I ain't got new clothes or new shoes or I ain't got enough outfits.
Yeah.
Back then you didn't have it. So the same thing applies to the ring, man. Back then it was tougher. It was much tougher.
Same thing.
You made a better living doing it than you could, and you got more respect doing it. Even though you weren't fully respected, you got better respect doing it because you know you were entertainment for folks. And as long as you have value entertainment, we will make sure that you continuously be there to entertain us. So they fought.
Okay. That's right.
They fought. And they fought because, hey, I want to make sure that I can entertain somebody again so I can entertain my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're right about that. Absolutely right about that. Mike Rim.
What's up, Ann McQueen? Just a few people coming in. Yeah, that's true, T.O. Yeah. As long as you can entertain them, you was accepted. When somebody else looked like you, you know, they was treated like second class.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, we was just having a conversation on some other platform not too long ago where, you know, we was talking about the Titanic and how, like, in the movie, you have the depiction of Leonardo DiCaprio feeling like he the luckiest man in the world because he got the ticket to get on the ship, you know, the grandest ship at the time. Mm-hmm. But the person he beat out for the ticket, he ended up really, truly, in perspective, being the greatest man, the luckiest man in the world because he didn't go through that catastrophe. If you're keeping it a buck, given the times, even those people at that time, while they were mostly not comprised of people that looked like us, they were lower class citizens. And because of that, they were in the gallows below. And guess what happened when they got into that iceberg trouble? They locked them down there. They flooded them down there. They died inside the third story of the third level of the ship, bro. They didn't even get a chance to get up to the top. So, you know, that's the time frame in which we're talking. A lot of the fights were taking place. You're not somebody to these people, so you're not getting your just treatment, your just respect, your just opportunities. So you got to make the most of them in that ring, and that's what they would do.
Yeah, hand me down, right? Yeah, I had to wear my brother's handed that hammer down.
Hand me down. See, you can see my rim, no. My rim, no, shoot, hand-me-down gear. Like, I used to get told about. I complained to my people about getting some clothes, and they'd be like, "Fool, don't you know we used to have to wear our older sisters and brothers' clothes? We had to hand me them."
You go into it. You go into your older brother's clothes, right?
Yeah, and as such, you had to be even more responsible with them because you knew you were going to have to pass them down.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of erosion has taken place with, you know, us having quote unquote more freedom and more opportunity, so to speak. Whereas we don't value the things that we should be placing value in. We don't value things. And that's why we have what we have now. People out there talking bad about these fighters, saying these awful things about these fighters, and none of them can get in there and do what these fighters do. It's crazy. But it's because we don't have the value that we used to have.
No. Nope. We sure don't.
But again, man, great show, man. A tremendous show. A tremendous biopic about a tremendous fighter. Somebody that actually gave a great deal to the sport. And because of this, his presence in the sport became a better place. A much brighter place. And he deserves to be recognized, man. Shout out to his family.
Because he saw the sports page. Remember how he got started? He was looking at a newspaper and he was working on the railroad making $15 a week, and he saw Kid Chocolate on the sports page got $30 for a fight, and he said, "I quit my job immediately."
And said, "I can go. I can try to do that, man." So you just imagine how many great people never got a chance to get in the ring, and how much talent we would have gotten to see had people have known how lucrative and beneficial it could be to get up in there. Now, granted, it is a risk.
Yeah, it's hard work. You got to work too,
It is a risk. Yeah, you gotta work hard. Shout out to good brother Al Booger, the professor, prototype himself.
Well, Al Booker, I haven't seen Al Booker in a while. Wow.
Yeah, Al Booger here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Booger, a fantastic mind, bro. I be wanting him sometimes to get up here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get up in Grace panels, but that's just not his thing.
Yeah.
But I talked to him on the phone a couple of times, man, and then this dude is sharp, real sharp, and he expresses himself very well. I wish he would come and grace some of these panels instead of some of the buffooneries that we get on panels.
Yeah.
We get people like Hacker and other folks, man. I want that go up there, and they go up there with a purpose to create a little bit of chaos, man. They give you something to speak on or talk about, or either to enrage you if you're that type of person.
Some of the stuff they say, they can't believe that stuff, man. Some of the stuff come out of that guy.
With Hacker, I will say some of the stuff he says is actually kind of, it makes somewhat sense.
But not all of it. Some of it.
But there are times he knows who he's talking to, so he puts some pride at them, and they bite into it every single time.
Of it is trolling. Yeah.
Hacker, my guy though, but I'm just saying, man, there'll be times where he just purposely just saying stuff just to
That's what I was trying to say.
Drive the conversation, so to speak.
Some good points sometimes, but sometimes I'm trolling too.
But as you said, sometimes he don't be believing what he say. He just say it just so it could shift the narrative, so to speak. But shout out to my man Boxing Hacker. But we got people out there, man, that are even worse than him, man, that just get up there and just talk bad about a fighter, just to talk bad about a fighter.
Right.
And they're doing it for the sole purpose of they don't like the fighter because they support another fighter. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They understood what these people had to do to get in this ring, and how much people had before them played the way like this man right here we talked about, Henry Armstrong, man. You would understand, man. It's like it's a lineage there that should be respected, and we shouldn't be tumbling on. And likewise, these fighters should move a certain way too, man. They shouldn't be going the way of the social media. I think everything has gone the way of social media.
Yeah. I still respect them though, because they do put the work in.
Oh, absolutely.
They get in the ring, they're in good shape and the skills and everything. So they might be different mind frame from the old fighters, but they still put the work in though, T. So I gotta get
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and like I say, man, it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline, and a lot of focus to do what they do, bro.
Yeah.
Even when they go in there and they don't look so well. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to go through those camps. And it's hard to be taken advantage of by these people.
Fight is like the climax of it,
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, all too well too, given your secular job that you just retired from, man. You could be the main reason why things are working, but you don't get nowhere near the benefit.
Right.
These people are the reason why people come in and look at these fights, tune into these fights, go to these stadiums, drive their vehicles and park and do all this thing, eat these foods at these places, these venues. They going to see them. They're not going to see no promotion. Now, sometimes the promotion is well worth the while because they promote the fight very well, but a lot of times it's not. It's just the fighters, and they're not getting the respect that they deserve. So, it's kind of tough when you think about that, man. That's why I say, man, when people are arguing about money, true, it doesn't matter to me and it doesn't affect me, but it definitely affects them because, they're making the sacrifice to get in the ring. People are coming to see them. So when they just say, well, look, I think I deserve this money, who am I to say that? Now, basically, the sales will definitely bear everything, but I understand where they're coming from. It's like, dog, these people make money hand over feet. You got people who have belts, they get paid X amount of million per fight. So in one night, doing absolutely nothing but chilling, sipping wine, and eating some food, they making more money than the fighters are.
I know.
Depending on how many belts is online and how much of that percent they're getting. So, man.
Yep.
But, Such is life, bro. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, man.
That's the way it is. You know?
And that's why we need people like you, man, so you can help glorify the people that make this sport bread. And give them their propers that just do, man. So shout out to Homicide, Hank, aka Henry Armstrong, man. Shout out to the path that he blazed, man. Shout out to the people he inspired, and shout out to the family that he left behind. Appreciate what your patriarch put into our lives, bro, and what he added to the sport of boxing. Shout out to my main man, Cat Sports, the box historian, cataloging all the great events in boxing history, the people who makes this sport go around, and the various places and the various events that take place around the world that this sport has touched. And man, shout out to you guys in the chat, on the playback. Appreciate you guys all, man. It's been another great show, and look forward to that series about how much goes into putting on a fight.
Oh yeah,
because that's gonna be a hell of a show right there. That's gonna enlighten some folks' eyes, man. And,
yeah, that's probably be.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a huge undertaking, but one worth doing, so that people could understand, man. It's not just easy for fighters to do in the ring. So man, always
sign to when they actually get into the ring, a whole lot goes into that,
Yeah, man, and it's gonna be a lovely show, man. I think a lot of people will appreciate, that show, and I think they will show their appreciation. I think you'll start getting more people to really recognize what you provide to the boxing sport and to this YouTube space, man. When you give them some enlightenment, because that'll be true enlightenment that day. They can understand what they see going on outside in these social constructs, and also within these damn promotional constructs, man, where
that's true.
Things are often spoken of, but sometimes never materialize.
That's right. You never see what it really is.
See, our brother said that will be fire, dog, and if the professor speak it, it's the truth, dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for that series to come out, man. That's gonna be special, man. And please like, comment, and subscribe. If you got time to stop by and add some kind of commentary, some kind of criticism, even if it's criticism, man, everything is welcome. We trying to do better. So if you see something where we can be stronger at, let us know. Likewise, if you see something that we're doing well and excelling, let us know. You know what? If you feel like, you can support this with a Cash App is scrolling, it's $CAS2878. You know what I'm saying? Always subscribe. You can become a member, and you can always leave a comment. Till the next time we come together again, man. This is Cat Sports, the box historian. 2:00, shorty. Giving you all that good boxing talk. Yeah.
What's up, Pedro? I know that's you. I must break